your boss comes in and says, you've got 1 hour to go through this deck and present to the committee, to the team, to your staff. They give you literally 1 hour to get your head across a bunch of content to deliver. Now this does happen. So how do you prepare in 1 hour a presentation? Something that you have not come across before and not across all the detail. So I'm going to give you a little map on how to do this. Normally it comes in the form of a deck. So they have you the slide deck. Now the temptation, of course, is that what you'll do is you'll project that slide deck and just go through it, walk through it, and read it along with them, hoping to add little bits of value. We want to elevate the standards here. So you get the deck, so you whip through it, and you get a sense of the content flow. Then we do this technique here. So you start off with your first question, which is around about the why. Why this will be of use, why this will be necessary, and why this will be of interest to that particular audience. So here we establish the context of relevance. Now, when you create a relevance piece right up front, you're going to create engagement. So is it a story that you can tell? Is it some statistics that you can provide? Is it something that you can articulate that creates an element of curiosity? Now, when you've got the deck, we want to chunk it down into its core essence. What are the key messages that are embedded often in an overabundance of content? Well, first of all, we need to drill this down to, well, what's the overall concept here? What is this really about? So what's the topic, what's the strategy, what's the issue at play? When you articulate the concept, please try and find language that is a little bit more accessible than the usual jargonistic stuff that gets thrown at us. All right, so it might be something around sales targets that might be for the next quarter. So you might say, well, what we're looking at here is making it happen for Q2. Just something that has a little bit of a ring to it that creates a little bit of a hook. So you're going to create your concept. Now, as you go through the slides, see how you can break this down into 3 or 4 key messages. And what we call these are principles. So what's the principle here, or the chunk down from the concept that that can act as almost like a subheading to the presentation itself? So this is the big issue. Here are the 3 or 4 key points that we'd like to make. Now, as you are constructing your map, think about 3 or 4 detailed points or data points that validate that principle. And so we want to provide a little bit of detail here, not too much. Remember, if you go into excessive detail, they won't remember it. So we provide enough detail that allows them to be able to validate and illustrate the principle that's linked to that particular concept. Whilst you're creating the map, whilst you're looking at your content map, you're also thinking to yourself, where can I find and apply a story or an example? So you're always thinking somewhere. Where's the story? Where's the example? These are the elements in your presentation that people will remember. They'll hook or link your content to the story or to the example. People remember stories. And then finally, what you do is you bring it all to a conclusion that links back to the concept and the why. So you conclude by simple backtracking on the key points, reminding about the wireframe, and there you have your map. Now, when you have this structure here on one piece of paper, you can sometimes put the slides aside, because this is what this will provide the intellectual architecture for them to understand what the key information messages are. You then can have the slide as a handout, which allows further elaboration and more detail. But if they have this framework of comprehension and understanding, the detail will make more sense. We, in our practice, have found that we can put presentations together on almost any topic in about 25-30 minutes, simply by the expedient of using this framework here. So we start with relevance, concept, principle, detail, conclude, story, and example. Start getting into the rhythm of this, and you can start creating really powerful presentations really rapidly, really effectively, and it will really boost your reputation. Enjoy.